And welcome yourself to the space as we welcome Gabriele. So let's get Gabriele on the screen for you to see. And welcome. Welcome, Gabriele. It's lovely to have you on the Centrepiece once more. And we're so happy to welcome you.
Thank you for inviting me. I am very happy to be with you and to talk about something which is near my heart. And I would like to start with a text from the Hopi Indians who say, everything we do now should be done in a sacred manner as a celebration, for we are the one we have been waiting for. Thank you. You want me to go on?
Yes, please. Do you want the first image?
No, hang on. Yes, I think you put the first image and then I make very few comments.
Here we go, my dears.
Yes, what do we start with? Of course, we start with our wonderful creative power that gives us life. It's an image of the eye of God, but it's more than that. It's the zodiac. It's the creation around that image, which is the all-seeing eye. And it's to be found in a dome of a building somewhere in Germany, just to know that we are in good company, that we are being looked at from this point in infinity, which in fact is everywhere. Thank you. Next one. Now, this was once an image we created for a cycle of 12 dance themes, which is the sun in action. You can see these active flames in the middle of a burning world, burning in the sense of giving fire to our actions. And the little circles on the outside are our dance themes, 12 in every month or in 2 years, every second month. Somebody created a very nice batik cloth with that image. The sun as the center of our life, giving us life itself and giving us warmth and giving us strength and being the inspiration for all of our actions. Thank you. Next one. Now here we have, can we have him a little bigger, that whole image? Is that possible? Round? Yes, okay. Even a little larger still. Yes, super. Just it's a plate from Greece, and it's a wonder. I love it very much. I'll tell you why. We see a dancing figure in the center, holding on to the branches of 2 trees, of whom he is the center. He is wide open eyes and he is running over a gap, which is the moment now, joining trees of the past with tree of the future. One bird is going down at the right side, and another bird is kind of flying back to the nest where his little ones are waiting for him with food. Now, the beautiful thing about this image, nobody really knows what it's meant to be, but in my way of looking, it's the moment now. The moment now in action between past and present. This moment now is the root of time, of all time. And the branches intertwined, it's like one tree with the moment now as the root. I think it's great. And you find it somewhere in Paris, in one of the fantastic museums. So see that our moment now is a meeting point between future and past, and I am in the center. What an amazing chance we have to be present, present by touching both, but being with wide open eyes, fixed on, we could say, eternity, timelessness, but we are in motion. Interesting. And I, of course, talking about the legs is another thing, why the leg is in front and right. This is to do with my lovely activity, which the Mevlevi turning, where the left leg is actually passive, already arrived, and the right leg is in motion. It kind of draws itself from behind to front. Anyway, all very fascinating. It's a beautiful plate, which you can find in Paris. Thank you. This auspicious moment now, could you, yes, could you, you want to show the book now?
Yes, this is your book moment.
Yes, this is what I've been trying to put into practice for some decades now, looking back in time. It's called Sacred Dance, or it's the name of an activity which we call that. And it's based on this book which Brandt is holding in his hands. The interesting thing is that in the publisher chose this image. We talked about it for a while. Why this image? Well, they said, it's our time, the Kali Yuga, it's the age of darkness, so-called. Kali is a goddess in Hindu mythology, and she is the one, the dark one, Kali, who is actually the mask before absolute blazing light. And she is, of course, dancing, and she's got 5 heads. And it's a wonderful figure. And she is what we call it destroying, but she is not destroying really. She's transforming. So the publisher said, let's have that, because this is what we are on at the moment in our age, time and age. So this is the book which started me off in my career in 1974, full of pretty pictures, pretty, let's call them beautiful, with sort of few comments. Anyway, it's remained that now, but you can still find it in sort of second-hand bookshops. Yes, dear friends, that was my introduction to what I'm trying to do tonight, which is talking about the way of the dance. And I wrote a very short article in the beginning of the book which I published on my father Bernhard. I called it, and then ... the way of the dance, which for me was a kind of acquisition later in life, because there was this father prominent. I didn't feel there was a place for me. I did other things before then. And then suddenly there came a moment when it was clear that I had to take on that kind of work which he left, which was dance as meditation, or dance as prayer, sacred dance, we called it. So if you don't mind, I'd read you that article to just explain what happened and how it all happened. It's quite mysterious for me. And then it became a reality. So allow me to read you this brief piece of work. It says here, about the same time as I was working on my thesis about the Russian folktale at London University, long time ago, between 1965 and 69, my father developed his dance meditation. Once before, I had decided not to bind my career to an institution or a theater. And again now, faced with a professional decision, I could not imagine becoming a member of an academic department. So while studying for my degree, I had encountered the tradition of the Mevlevi dervish turning that had let wings to my body and my imagination. Why was there nothing similar to be found in the Christian tradition, binding together spirit, soul, and body by a spiritual discipline so as to have a way of life, so as to be a way of life? So now the story begins in practice. One day, a good friend of mine called unexpectedly, showing me a long list of topics to be published by a London art publisher, Thames and Hudson, inviting me to help myself, as he called it, to one of the titles. The series was called Art and Imagination and had already gone into print with a few titles. So I helped myself to Sacred Dance, Encounter with the Gods. The book was published simultaneously, the one Brant just showed you, in several languages, and floodlit for me a number of few possibilities of combining dance and research. Now, meanwhile, so I had learned in the north of Scotland at Findhorn, an international group of New Age visionaries had formed a community who had discovered dancing as a spiritual practice. Amazing, I thought. They invited my father and me to help develop a dance program for their daily life and festive occasions. Now, next stage. During this period, I had spent several long times in the north of India at the Himalayan foothills, fascinated by the figure of a saint who was worshipped as an avatar, an incarnation of the dancing god Shiva, who taught ancient Vedic yoga traditions. So one day I was sitting on the terrace of the ashram near the little hut in which this teacher lived, when I suddenly heard through the open door the music I knew from my father's dance teaching. Amazing. But as I learned later, a music cassette had found its way to the Himalayas as a gift for the teacher through a friend who had attended a dance workshop with my father at Findhorn. What do you think of that? It was too much for me almost. Back in Germany, however, I announced to my father that I was now ready to take up and continue his work of dance meditation, that's what he called it, in that I would try to combine research and practical work. So during the few remaining years of his life, Father Bernhard was to be a very patient, I must underline, a very patient and dedicated mentor. That's my story, how it all started. Totally amazing, unexpected. I never thought I'd do that. And I did. I'm still, well, kind of finishing the activities, but still involved, as you can see. Yes, dear Brant, it's your turn. We need the image number 5, which is the circle dance at Findhorn in the late 70s. Oh, that's nice. I'm off the screen. Good. What we see here is Findhorn in the late 70s. Absolutely amazing. Already the whole story is there in one picture. We have a center, 3 children, which is nice. And we have people moving around it. Anti-clockwise, interestingly enough, because our European dances, rooted in the so-called folk, they all go against time, as it were, facing the sunrise in the sort of symbolic imagination. So here we have Findhorn, beautifully filmed from Newbold House, on the other side of Findhorn, which you're now about to sell. Interestingly enough, things come to an end and new beginnings are in waiting. Lots of people already having caught on to the idea that let us do this, unite round the center. In this case, 3 children. Very nice. Yes, please. We have one.
There we go.
So that's what we'll do, show an image and then comment with a dance. Thank you. Now, what we've seen is what I called it still point, this dance. Still point and moving world, which is a kind of basic understanding of what we are doing in what has become to be called sacred dance. It is that stillness creates movement, which is something amazing. Of nothing, everything appears. And this very nice music by Bach has a steady rhythm, gently inviting us to just make walking steps, expand the circle, have the circle moving, and then draw the circle back together again and return to stillness. So it's still point and moving world, which could be a kind of beginning for our activities or of an understanding of what it's all about. We draw within in order to be active without. And this is what we found wonderfully present at Findhorn when we first appeared in 1976, and ready for the community to receive movement as not a physical exercise only, but as a way into silence, or from silence into movement, and as a prayer, as a form of being together in a prayerful way in order to celebrate the moment now, which after all includes all time. So it's a kind of philosophy, if you like, a philosophy as well as an activity which is done in silence, in with an understanding that we are being guided by something which is much larger than us, including our wonderful planet Earth, nature, but trying to embrace the sky as well. So this dance is called Still Point and Moving World, based on the understanding T.S. Eliot, the poet, the wonderful poet you have in England, which is, he was really an inspiration for this piece of movement. Yes, my dear Brandt, do please go on. We come to next. Yes?
Yeah, I just get your picture for you, dear.
That's okay. You don't have to have me so large on the screen. I'm blinded by myself.
We love to see you, though. We love to see your face.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. There's your picture.
Okay, this is Bernhard. It's called Dance, and it's kind of wild. He was a dynamic person, kind of difficult to keep at home, so he did what he did in a sort of dynamic way, moving out of all bounds. And this is a dance where people hold hands, but look at them. They're kind of inspired by something inside them. They look the way they look. They don't look like figures like on exhibition. They are themselves in the moment of being inspired by whatever happened within themselves. So that's sort of thing he called dance. Everybody being themselves, but being united in a form by holding hands. And these, of course, this idea is based on our European tradition that when we dance in community, we hold hands. That is, we are connected energetically, and there tend to be round dances, circle dances, you call them, which means that a center is being envisaged. And you can be yourself. You're not a stylized individual. You are kind of whoever you happen to be, looking whichever way you look. And this was his commentary on what he called dance. Be yourselves, be united, and yes, have fun, I suppose. They look as though they are enjoying themselves. Good. So the next dance I'd like to show is a dance which I call sun dance variations. Of course, you know all the sun dance. Everybody knows it by now, or many people do, which is a kind of calm dance. I found a music which comes from South America, and it celebrates the sun, the light, and it's kind of cheerful. Anyway, let's have it. The Sundance Variations. Yes, we filmed it in South America, Brazil. Yes. We show a mixture of our dance, the sun dance variations with South American music, and children dancing in a favela in a kind of poor quarter in Brazil. It is very nice meeting them and inspiring them. We hoped that we do something and please you do something as well. You do what you can and we try and do what we can. And somehow we felt close to each other. It was a very nice meeting. Just to tell you, it is possible to unite those worlds which apparently are kind of separate. That, in other words, the so-called poor people. Hello, I've lost you. Why am I've lost you?
No, but you're here with us. You're okay. You're on the screen, Gabrielle.
I've lost your image while I clicked away my whatnot. Tell me what to do.
Don't worry, Gabrielle. If you just can continue talking, we can see your face, we can hear you.
But I can't. I
you
can't
just-
see you.
Yeah, just tell me which image you need next. That's all you need to do.
The next thing is Bernhard and Gabriele dancing Findhorn Festival 82. But I'd like to see. I'd like on talking. Never mind. I can't see you. That's a Findhorn Festival in 82. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Yes, that was, I think the last time he came to Findhorn was in 82, and I was back from India then, because that was the period when I was moving around in the Himalayas. And yes, that's all. You can see yourselves, or some of you, in 82, if you were still around, already around. And it's just a black and white photo of us two in a leading circle dance. And the dance which I want to show you now is called Trinity of Creation, which is music to the Bel Canon, which is a slow movement of his kind of set of music. And it called Trinity of Creation, danced in 3 concentric circles. And yes, different forms, but serving the one.
So I'm going to put the video on now, Gabrielle.
Yes, please. And if I can be back to you, would be super. That's the one. listen, my dear friend. So now we have I can't comment. Well, I could say about what we've just seen, that there are 3 concentric circles and they each do a different movement. The inner circle, of course, does an infinity sign with the arms, like a big circle with the arms, and they have a kind of infinity movement by crossing their feet, going backwards and forwards. The outer circle has a movement which reaches from the depths to the height and back again. It's also infinity. And the central circle kind of holds the space between the number 1 and number 3 circle by doing a very slow movement, kind of half time, in order to unite the idea of cross and circle. Sorry about a little mishap, but I hope you understood.
So Gabriele, would you like the next image, which is the cross?
Now, the next image is the dancer on the Orthodox cross. Exactly.
I've got the image up for people so they can see this.
I can't see it, but you can, and I've got it on a paper before me. All is well.
Good.
So can I describe it briefly?
You can. It's on the screen for the people.
Okay, right. Now then, we have this very interesting, how shall I say, composition of a father who was at one time had been a student of theology and was interested in symbols, of course, as you can see. You see the Orthodox cross, which has 3 horizontal lines, one indicating the head, the central one indicating the position of the arms, and the lower one, which is slanted, indicating the position of the right foot crossed in front of the left. So what do we have here is a statement that actually what is dancing is the cross. The cross is in movement. Now, of course, held in a position, in one position, which means that the dancer is ready to start. The central axis is the cross going through his left leg, and the vertical axes are indicating movement in space. Yes, we don't, of course, connect the symbol of the cross with dance, but if you analyze a dance which is very famous in Greece altogether, called Hassapikos, and then the answer, the faster answer, the Hassaposervikos, you see, in fact, these feet movements. And in the first part, which is danced by Fido Wagler, who's been to Findhorn, was a student of my father and was very fascinated by this dance interpretation. You see him dancing this dance on the Orthodox cross with a symbol painted on the floor with 4 dots indicating the space movements, as it were, in between the fixed cross. And then it is a kind of resurrection dance or movement of time and space within the body of the dancer. It's absolutely fascinating. I used to love doing that because it means that what we call faith, which is a Christian understanding of the cross, is actually you can relate it to the body movement and to the figure of the dancer. It is possible to not just have all these images as abstract symbols painted or sculpted, but you can be that symbol in movement, and that is quite an interesting experience. So you see Fido then surrounded by a group who will answer with the fast Assapo cervicus. So Fido, coming out of the door in the Universal Hall, begins his dance, showing how you can make this symbol come alive. And there is good photography of his feet, so you can see whatever you understand. Good luck.
So we'll put the video on now, yes?
What?
You want the video on of Fido? Yes?
I would like the dance number 4.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gabriele. Here we go. That was a wonderful video, Gabriele. Wonderful.
Listen, it was filmed, of course, at Findhorn, and I just want to point out that the first slow dance is representing the symbol of the cross in movement through a figure of a human being. And the second fast part, called Passapo cervicus, is kind of the answer of the thank you for the accomplishment of this symbol in movement by a kind of happy resurrection dance, you can say. It's jump. The combination of the two dances, the slow one and the fast one, is the representation, of course, of the symbol, the cross in movement, which is a very fine understanding that the human being, in fact, is made to dance any symbol you like. In this case, it's the Orthodox cross. You can say, but you could see by the painting on the floor. And the second fast one is the answer of joy at having accomplished this feat of dancing a symbol, which is a Christian symbol, actually of resurrection. Dancing the cross, which doesn't mean you have to die on the cross. You may die on the cross, but you are also destined to resurrect on the cross. That's maybe a summary.
Okay, my dear. Here it comes.
Yes, you could make it bigger. Yes, thank you. Now, this is one we have used a lot, this image, which is looks like very much like a modern drawing. This is Bernard at its best. Movement in action, but together. He had a great thing of getting people together. That was his talent also. I mean, anybody was welcome. He was not after he left his theater and his theater career as a dancer and choreographer, he was very much intrigued by the fact that everybody really can dance. And he was humble enough to forget his professional career and said, no, let's find everybody. Where are they all? So he was invited to various institutions, religions, and worldly sort of communal groups, and etc. And this self-toast is an expression that, to me, that we are living here and now in this modern time. It's kind of looks abstract, but it's also kind of figurative. Everybody holding hands, and the first person kind of waving his right hand, saying, let's go on, let's follow me, please. And people are happy to just do this in a running way. He was a dynamic person, as you can well imagine. And this Sirtos is, of course, a Greek image, a Greek dance, which means following a line of followers, Sirtos. So we will have a Sirtos danced in Findhorn on the lawn of the community center that was, and I hope it'll be one day resurrected in some form or other. And then we end up this Sirtos on the beach. So it's the same Sirtos, but in two settings, one on the community lawn and one on the Findhorn beach. Yes, please, let's have the dance Sirtos. Shanti. Thank you, Brandt. That was our contribution, as it were, and leading into the last dance, which is a prayer for peace, which was celebrated, of course, as well this year in the Olympic flame rising to the sky and wishing for peace. This is our greatest longing now in this chaotic world. And I'm so happy that in Findhorn we can always pick up on whatever theme and make it real and make it alive and be part of it and tune into the mood of the time, whatever time that may be. So the Cirtos, of course, is a joyous dance, a celebration dance, with a fast sort of 6/8 time 3-step movement and a chain which can do anything, travel whichever way it likes. I want to just say that when I say the way of the dance, what do we mean, or what do I mean? It is a journey which I believe comes from within, as some of the dances have shown, but it is to connect to people without, and it to be in a very, let us say, community focused way, that we are one, being many, but we are one. And we don't have to forget that whatever differences we may have, when we dance together, we can't really quarrel because we go in one direction, we have one theme, we have one center, and we better stay together and we have fun. So that's the wonderful contribution dance can make to our lives, which is not, please, based on a personality which is either wonderful or not so great. We are asked to remember that dance is movement for a higher purpose. We dance, yes, of course we take part. We are ourselves, thank you very much. We may remain ourselves, but we are on a path of development. Development means an unfolding. Unfolding from what? From the one to the many. The one is always bigger than all the people together, which is the center to which we turn. And our last image, which is then followed by a prayer for peace, which was composed in Findhorn, is this amazing image of the balloon with the flame rising in Paris, central Paris, over the main beautiful gardens there, the Tuileries, with lights of concentric circles from which this balloon was rising with a flame, demonstrating that above all, above the lights which are lit on the ground is the flame flying into space with a prayer for peace. This is what we really need in our strange age into which we were born, full of conflicts. So I feel also that dancing together has to do with serving the need of the time, our time. And the great, wonderful thing of having fun together, of course, by dancing, is to serve this purpose of remembering why we are here, what we are asked to do together, which is in harmony, holding hands, focusing on the one, and yes, don't quarrel, not too much. Just a little bit is allowed. But when we dance, we need to follow time. We have wonderful rhythm to help us. We have a theme, yes, which we serve. And we have a direction, which is either going round and round, or we open the line, the circle to become a line, which has a direction to wherever. So, my dear friends, let us, having seen this great picture, which I really loved, I thought it was a beautiful way of showing peace, connecting heaven and earth, which we saw in the Olympic Games in Paris this year. Let us finish with a prayer for peace, which was composed for Findhorn. Barbara Svetina made the music into a choir singing part, and we start with conflict and end in a prayer for peace, which is, of course, St. Francis's words. O Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. That's what they sing. O Signore in Italian. Yes, here we go. Thank you.
God blesses you and keeps you. God lets his face shine upon you and is gracious to you. God lifts up his countenance upon you and gives you peace.
So, my dear Gabrielle, thank you so much. Such a wonderful amount of videos, and lovely to see Fido dancing and outside the Universal Hall, and just wonderful. So what we'll do is we can have a little silent tune out, and then we can open the floor to questions. Would that be sound good to you?
Absolutely. I'm fine.
Okay, my dear. So let's just keep that silence that came from the last song. Let's take. Thank you, Bobby, for doing that for us. And if I know there was one question, first of all, from Margaret, I think it was, if you could put yourself on screen and we can see you. I'll put you on, I'm going to add you to Spotlight and you can ask your question. You need to unmute yourself though, my dear. We can't hear you. You need to unmute.
Technique.
Yeah, if you go to the bottom and you've got a little, there's a little speaker, if it should be red, you need to press that and make it unread. I've asked you to unmute again. Do you just want me? I'll just ask Gabrielle the question then, because I think I can find it. Hold on. I think you were asking about the play, is that correct? Yes. She was asking the god on, she thought it was a god on the play called, is it Kairos?
Oh, yeah, then picture number 3.
Yes. She was asking if that's
What
correct.
would she like to ask about? What exactly? What's the question?
She was asking if it was the god Kairos. Is it Kairos? Yeah,
Yes, thank you for asking that question. It's interesting. Now, Kairos means the auspicious moment now, which is the last child of all time. He's at the opposite end of all time or no time. So the moment is all we have in order to join all time, infinity. So kairos, it's a wonderful Greek symbol put into the form of a human being running, as it were, jumping over an abyss. Now, what is this abyss? It's the moment now, here and now. Always, always running, but always here and now. That's his job. And our job is to connect with that moment. If we don't do it now, we'll never will. So tomorrow is no good, yesterday is gone. So he's our best friend, Kairos, the moment now, linking past and linking the future, here and now. He's is a great Greek visionary feat to invent something which we can relate to, because we relate to human figures. So they made him into a little man with open eyes, holding on to 2 branches of 2 trees, which is 1 tree really, and he's in the center. Okay?
thank you. I hope that answered your question. Sorry we couldn't get you unmuted. I don't know what's happened at your end, but thank you for the question. And I'll remove you from the spotlight. Is there anybody else? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. I see there's Frances with her hand up. You can unmute yourself and I'll put you on screen, Frances dear. Hold on. She's coming. There we go. There's Frances Rose.
Hello. We've met
Hello.
before, my dear. What are you doing here?
I'm here because you are here.
Ah, that's nice. Now that makes us together in the moment now. How about that?
Yeah, I have the Kairos plate in my front, so clearly.
He's
But
a great invention of the human mind, of a very superior mind, trying to make concrete something which is abstract. Because time doesn't really
oh,
exist. It's an illusion, but still it's all real. Yes, Francis, your question, please.
it's not really a question. It's more like a comment and just share my feeling of so deep gratitude. But what I wrote already in the chat is that you always inspire me immediately just by your presence, because I have been hearing you and following you since so long. So many times I know what you're saying, but it goes into a different place, deeper, and inspire me to do more, not only to think and agree, but to act. And especially in this ending about the peace and what it means for each of us to do something. I've been working for peace since a long time, but I really feel inspired to do more. And I just want to tell you and share how important your inspiration is for me, and I know for many, many of us. So thank you for holding the flame and going on for us.
Well, thank you, my dear.
And
Listen,
I love you.
what are you doing looking half naked when I'm here in my woolens?
I
I
even
am as
put
well. I've got my thermals on, so I'm the same as Gabrielle here. We're
I
cool.
even put an ocean behind me because it's so hot.
Well, nice to see you, dear Francis. Nice. Thank you very much for your friendly words. Lovely.
Thank
Yes,
you, Francis.
Thank
let's
you.
be
Thank you,
united
Grant,
in
for
peace.
bringing Gabriele.
It's
It's
the
great.
only chance we have. We have to be united in peace. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Help.
Exactly, Gabrielle. We've got a question from someone else who we'll bring on. I'm just going to remove you for the moment. Hold on. I just see if I can get her up. Yes, there we go. It's your friend. It's Laura. Laura Shannon.
So much, Grant, for bringing Gabrielle to us to spend 2 hours in your presence without having to travel hundreds of miles is a real blessing. And I also wrote in the chat how moved I am. You gave us this glimpse back through your 50 years of your journey, which has been such a privilege for all of us because you've laid down footsteps for us to follow, like those Latvian ancestors. And you didn't even touch on your worldwide travels and trainings and your research into indigenous dance traditions, your CD, DVD, books, all of that. We could have 10 more 2 hour talks with you, Gabrielle, and still only be touching the surface. So my question for you, because even though time doesn't exist, you did mention something about coming towards the end, although, as you say, you are still active. And it has been 50 years. You've done so much. My question for you is, if you had another 50 years,
Well, that's a
Thank
good
you.
question.
Thank you.
That's good. I like this.
oh, some dancing divinity to grant us that. But if you had it, what would you do? What is still to do in your unfolding work with sacred dance?
Well, you are very kind to ask that question. And thank you also for mentioning that I've been traveling. You don't have to travel, but I also am quite happy at my old age to be sitting at home with the help of Grant to just do Zoom time. I must say, I feel this is the best thing that came out of this stupid Corona, COVID, whatnot. It's at least a positive way of, yes, we are together. Of course, not live, but I can feel you. I feel you in the warmth of your words, and your consciousness comes across. It's really nice to be connected in this way, and thank you. Now, what would I do for another 50 years? Help! What a terrible question. What would I do? Very much depends what we do. What the world around us offers. It's not what I want. It's somehow how I respond to what is or what even isn't, and I would like it to be. It's an interesting question, and I feel, what did I learn in all these years? I learned that you have to be ready. It sounds a bit pompous, but you have to be ready to serve. There's nothing else you can do. Respond, and if it's dance, use whatever you've learned in order to apply to the need of the moment. Because what do I know? 50 years help. I hope the world is still going round. The wonderful world we are beginning to destroy or have been destroying too rapidly, and we live with the results. So what I think we have the great privilege of being devoted to a form of life which is the opposite of destruction. It's going back to the root in ourselves, to connect with nature around, and to serve the spirit of creation. What can I say? We have these amazing traditions which we are privileged to learn from and to kind of adapt to the needs of the time. So the question is a bit difficult to answer, but I think the direction is clear. The direction will be the same, responding to whatever need there may be. Yes, and I think dance is not a bad way of connecting. And I was very privileged to being given a lot of help on that journey. Thank you, Laura, for answering and for really for asking. I mean, it's a question which has an answer in it, and you're an intelligent woman. I know you already supposed you put me into a position of having to answer, which the question already implies. So thank you.
I agree. It's a wonderful question. Thank you, Laura. It's really a very nice interaction there. It's a lovely question. And it's nice to see you as well, dear. So thank you for coming. We've got a question now from Cooney, so I'm going to just put you off the screen and you can talk in a little while if you need to. So I just need to remove you, sorry. We'll have Cooney next, who's got a question for you. You need to unmute yourself, dear.
I just did that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, Gabriele, it was wonderful. I'm so touched.
Gunya, what are you doing here? Nice to see you in this context.
Yeah, and then
normally I see her going round in circles. Okay, tell me, what's your question?
Yes, I wonder, it was very nice to see quite different things what you told us. And then I wonder, so when it's happen again, I'm just looking for the next time through here again.
Well, here is now.
That's my question. When is the next one?
Listen, here is now. So more than that, I can't say. I don't know about tomorrow. And I don't know about the day after, but I know now. I see you, smiling face, very nice. I see Bram, smiling face, also nice.
Yeah.
And it's good to be united in the moment. What can I say? What do we know about tomorrow? Nobody knows. But thank you for asking, and thank you for the as if invitation. I take it as an invitation. Mm-hmm. Well, if whatever will happen, then we will meet again. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, Cooney. We'll put you off the screen for now. And I don't know if there's any other questions before I just say a few announcements and then we can just chat. I'll just put you on chat and you can just chat, basically. So is there any other questions at all? No? I have one. So my question to you, Gabrielle, was the image with the video with Fido. I was really intrigued by the two lines. And who was the gentleman? Do you remember who the gentleman who was leading the other line is? I've seen him in other photos, so I wondered if you knew who he was. He was leading the other line. Do you know who this person was at all?
You asked me about a technique of photography.
No, some of the people in the video. Do you know any of the other people in the video?
Hello, Brant.
I know some of them.
Hold on, Gabrielle. Somebody's actually saying they might know.
Yes, it was Raymond.
It was Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond and I can't think of his surname, and his wife Judith was in the circle as well.
Thompson, Raymond and Judith Thompson from Devon.
Thompson, that's right.
Where were they from?
They're from Exeter.
Oh, right. So they're English people who came down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's Raymond and Judy. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Who was that who was talking?
Me, Jerry.
Oh, it's Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. That was lovely. It's nice to get the names of the people. And thank you, Gabrielle. So, my dears, I've got two little announcements. One is that we'll be back with the Centrepiece in January, at the end of January. We've got a Celtic celebration. We've got lots of lovely guests coming, presenters to come and dance for you, teach you dances. And also I've had a lot of questions about my thesis. Yes, I'll put it on my website to download in the next few weeks, because I know people have been asking about it. And lastly, I want to say thank you so much to Gabriele Wosien for being here. We've enjoyed our time with you. And I know people are happy with that. You can maybe do this if you're happy. Everybody's doing this. There's 19 people here. They're all doing this. So, and a few people have apologised they had to leave a little bit early. And so thank you, Gabrielle. Have you got anything else you would like to add before we just chat?
Yes. I want to express my gratitude for having been invited. I am how shall I say, I'm a fan of Findhorn, having been with you, different people in different times since 1976, having seen many changes and being still absolutely convinced that a kind of place like yours is a blessing, because you can meet in different activities. You can be inventive, and I can see how you carry on being creative, and in spite of many changes, which may even be painful, but you are there and you hold the torch. Absolutely super. And I want to thank you, Brant, for inviting me.
Thank you.
And I'm at your disposition anytime you think you want some more.
We'll have you back, definitely, Gabrielle. But I just want to tell you that Peter has said he's quietly recovering from COVID. So he's, I think, sending his love. I'm taking that as what you're saying, Peter. But it's nice to have you there. And I've been thinking about, we missed you last night in the hall.
Yeah. So actually, just to say, it's been great to hear you, Gabriella, and also to think that.
He's here. Hold on. I'll put you on spotlight. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go. I didn't know if you had your camera on, dear.
Yeah, and just to say,
Peter, you look more attractive as you get older. Look at you. Absolutely groomed and friendly. You didn't always used to be so friendly and so well groomed. What happened?
Yes. Anyway, just to say, 2026, it'll be 50 years since Bernard and you first came, and so we're hoping, to have a big celebration.
Yes,
And you know, and just in case you're not well enough to come here, you know, we thought we could all just fly over to yours.
Listen, you have to bring me in a wheelchair, probably.
Okay, yeah. So I hope to do that. And and Sue says hello as well. She's just behind on the sofa. You can maybe see.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you for joining in, dear Peter.
It's so nice for you to come, and everyone else to come. It's so special just having this time to listen and learn. And I love seeing these old videos. I mean, Universal Hall. It's so nice to see what happened there when I wasn't there. You know, so this is great for everybody.
And of course, you can buy the Hymn of Jesus DVD because that's where it was from. Yeah. So. Still available from a good website.
Peter, where would people get that?
I think Gabriele still sells the Hymn of Jesus.
I don't sell anything. I don't even sell myself. Listen.
So I'm not sure, but maybe Judy has some. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Judy King will still have.
Judy King is selling 2 books: Father's book, Journey of a Dancer, and Making Wishes. That I'm sure.
And this one you can get on sometimes. You just have to look out. Amazon sometimes has it. So yes,
it's out of print, but you can get it secondhand. Yeah. And listen, my dear Brandt, you've made a recording of this. People can
of course. Yeah.
Can acquire when you're ready a kind of edited version or whatever you're making.
Yes, of course. It will arrive at some point. I'm just working on the festival one at the moment, so that's the next one.
Okay, all is well. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you, Peter. Hello.
Okay, if there's no one else needing anything, if Gabrielle, if you could just stay with me until we put everybody out of the room. Sorry, but in a nice way, we will let you open the doors and let you go out, and we'll see you in January. Have a great Christmas or winter holidays, whatever you celebrate.
Thank you.
Yes.